LeBron out of the playoffs?
Well, it's simple. I mean, last night, my list of role players. I keep saying this. This is a team sport, and the Lakers couldn't make shots. The Lakers couldn't protect the paint. The Lakers couldn't rebound the basketball. Is that all on LeBron James? No. You need a supporting cast. You need guys to help you out. This is why they miss a guy like Rajon Rondo, who elevated his game and helped guys out, like Kyle Kuzma, right? Put a key in his back to step his game up and help him guide through the way while LeBron James went to the bench. This is why they miss a guy like Dwight Howard, who had to fill in for injured Joel Embiid and help the 76ers close out the Wizards last game. Like, the role players matter. They matter. And if we're going to sit up here and talk about a guy that's in his 18th season and LeBron James, who finished with 7 and 9, I believe it was last night, with no help whatsoever. And all those Laker fans out there who had something to say about Danny Green, y'all were wrong, okay? Yeah, he missed a huge shot in Game 5, I believe it was last year. But one thing we know about Danny Green is that he's a gamer. He's a shot maker. And those same shots that Caldwell Pope, Wesley Matthews were missing, Danny Green was going to make those shots.
Yeah, Danny Green's also a 3 and D guy. He'll not only make the shots, he can still defend on the ball. Look, it's very simple why the Lakers lost. I'm sorry, Perk. It's not about the role players in this case. It's the injuries to the superstars. Every team in the league would make the same deal the Lakers made. If you could push all your chips to the middle of the table and wind up with LeBron and AD, which is going to thin out your roster, you're putting all your resources into grabbing AD and getting him to L.A., you're going to do that. You're going to do that. Even though you know LeBron's up there in age, and so there's a higher chance of injury, and even though you know AD is injury prone, you're still going to make that deal. Everyone would do it. The Lakers did it. And guess what? They won a championship year 1. This is only year 2. Last year they were healthy. This year they're hurt. It was pretty obvious that if LeBron and AD would have been healthy, they'd have won the series. They'd have won the series. Now, you brought up a good point earlier, Perk. If Chris Paul was also healthy, I'd say it wouldn't have even gone 7 games. Maybe with a healthy Chris Paul, it would have. Lakers would have won. Lakers would have won that. They have enough with the role players that they would have won the series. It's not about the peripheral stuff. It's about the fact that your entire team revolves around 2 superstar pillars. One of them was on the court and compromised, still got you to single digits after being down almost 30. And the other one couldn't get on the court for more than a couple minutes. That's it. That's the whole story. Not more complicated than that.
It is a little bit more complicated than that, Max, but I understand why you wouldn't get that. Here's the deal, KP. When we look at LeBron, here's what we have to hold him accountable for. And we don't want to use the word fault because he's dependable. He's reliable. He does not cheat the game. But when you think back, and we've talked about these stories, Kendrick, when we talked about MJ, for example, and MJ loses, all right? He goes out, he retires the first go-round, he comes back, they lose to Orlando when Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, those boys got the better of him. Michael Jordan was training the next day. He gave the players 2 weeks off and then said, have your behinds back here. And they were on it. And that mission was that mission. And then the next season is when they won the 72 games and they had acquired Dennis Rodman and all of that stuff. If you recall, Kendrick Perkins, because you're a champion, you played in the league, and you know every damn body. So you know what I'm about to say is very, very true. The Lakers were lollygagging this year. Not LeBron, but the Lakers. You won the game. You won the championship. You in Tinseltown. You in L.A., you were feeling yourself a little bit. Everybody that was around them was talking about their body language. They wasn't as focused. They weren't as locked in. They were relieved, feeling themselves, enjoying it. And who's the person to hold them accountable to say, hell no, we got another championship to go after? Who's that person?
It's LeBron.
There you go.
Yeah, but Stephen A, it's a totally different team though. We talking about they added Dennis Schroeder right to the lineup. We talking about a guy that averaged 19 points a game last year. They added Montrezl Harrell guy that won the Six Man of the Year award that averaged close to 20 last year. They added this firepower to take and relieve some of the pressure off LeBron James and AD because they knew it was tougher. And what happened? Dennis Schroeder didn't win a championship last year.
I
He's
agree.
fighting for
But Kuzma did. Kuzma did. Markieff Morris did. Anthony Davis did.
And
Alex Caruso did.
But Stephen A., this is why I'm telling you and Max right now and Molly the value of a Rajon Rondo with that system.
I agree with that.
That's
Let me say this.
saying that, with that system. Because we all know that LeBron James hasn't been on record for his team-wise, and I've been on the team. He's not a vocal leader in the locker room. He just shows by example. Rajon Rondo is a coach that is a player that is a coach that happens to be on the floor. You see what I'm saying? He's the difference.
Let me say this. Having lived in L.A., I know New York is about dealing with pressure. L.A. is about dealing with distractions. It's not for everyone. It was for Kobe Bryant. You know, all the things that how Kobe took advantage of L.A. was after he retired. Kobe wasn't letting anything in L.A. get in between him and his career goals. Beach. Not everyone is built like that. Kobe was. L.A. and Kobe, good match that way. It's not for everyone. Rondo, good match that way, not for everyone.
And that's why we should applaud D-Wade and Chris Bosh, because Miami is a distraction.
Big distraction.
Okay? But them brothers were focused. That's a distraction.
They only do